it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Hip Kit Club. And I'm using the September 2021 kits, so I've got the main kit, the Pocket Life kit, the embellishment kit, and also the colour kit that will all feature in this layout. And it's Mixed Media Monday, so obviously my assignment is to add some mixed media to my layout. I've pulled out two of the three colours from this month's colour kit. So I've got the Cotton Candy Spritz and the Orange Sherbet Original Shimmers. So they've inspired me to kind of go with a pink and orange colour scheme for this layout. So I've got this Pocket Life card here that I really love the bright orange colour of, and I want to make a little pouch to sit on my layout and kind of build my layout around and on, and I want to tuck this Pocket Life card inside it. So I've just trimmed down one of the Pink Fresh Studio patterned papers from the Best Day collection and folded it up in half. I'm going to punch a semicircle out of the top, just marking a centre point here, and then I'm going to slot that card in, so I know it's going to fit now because I've kind of measured it all up. And I'm going to just quickly take my sewing machine and stitch around the edges of that kind of pocket that I've just made. I'm just going through the Pocket Life cards, just seeing if there are any others I could slot in behind the orange one to kind of build some layers. And I've pulled out another one here, it's got some pink dots on it. I'm not going to tuck it in the pouch itself because I want to have it at an angle. So that orange one will fit in slightly at an angle, and then that pink one, the dotty one, is just going to sit on the back of my layout behind it, so it kind of looks like it's inside, but it's actually not. And then that orange card inside is going to hold my journaling on the back. So that's kind of the base of my layout. I want that pouch with those cards, and then I've got my photo just to the right of that. And it's a gorgeous photo of my little boy on our way to school a couple of weeks ago. It was a gorgeous morning, the sun was beaming down and the sky was bright blue, and there's this particular tree and all the leaves, like literally overnight, had all turned different shades of pink, orange and red, and there was a green tree next to it, so they were all kind of merging in, and it just looked really beautiful. Managed to snap this photo of my little one just on our walk up to school. So I thought perfect for a kind of autumn or fall themed layout. So I'm just going through the rest of the kits here, pulling out anything kind of autumn related or anything pink and orange that I think I can make work with my colour scheme. So I'm going through the embellishment kit, the Pocket Life kit and the main kit, all these little packs. I think most of what I pop on here are from Pink Fresh Studio. I've got these stickers here, these are exclusive Hip Kit Club, and the two little kind of tabs you see sitting on my pouch there, they're kind of denim appearance, those are Hip Kit exclusives as well. But like I said, I'm just going through all the kits, picking out some bits I want to use. I haven't got a clue where I want anything to sit on the layout at this point. So the stickers I want to use from Pink Fresh, I'm just sticking those onto some white cardstock so that I can cut those out, and then that gets rid of the sticky side and enables me to move them around kind of like die cut pieces until I've decided where I want them positioned. And the stickers that were stuck, so I've got some puffy stickers from Pink Fresh Studio, and the best there, those were stuck to acetate, so I've just trimmed those off with the acetate so I can place those in different places before committing. I'm just trimming down that white cardstock around everything. I don't want it to show, so it was literally there just to take that sticky away. If you can't be bothered with that, another good trick, talcum powder works brilliantly. If you just put some talcum powder on your fingers and rub it on the back of stickers, it completely takes the sticky away. So it gives you exactly the same thing, it enables you to move bits and pieces around until you're kind of happy with where they sit. Now I'm going to start having a play with things and building the layout up to see where I want things, and typically I place everything where I think it might go, and I really love it, and then I don't take a photo of it and I move it all off to add my mixed media, and then I've got to try and remember where things were, and I think a couple of things get moved, but not enough that it bothered me. Like, I like where they ended up, so that's fine. But yeah, I was cursing myself for not thinking to take a photo. So I'm going to get my mixed media added on now. I'm using some white cardstock from the cardstock kit. It's textured, so really nice with mixed media. I've sprayed the Shimmers Cotton Candy Spritz on my background. You saw me there with a kitchen towel. I wanted to just soak up the excess, and it ended up soaking off all the colour, so I had to go in again with that. I've not used any gesso on my background today. I'm not planning on adding loads of water because I knew I was going to use that spray kind of directly on the page. So no gesso. My page does warp slightly, but not enough that it concerns me. So I've added the spritz on. I've then mixed in some of the Orange Sherbet original shimmer, so that's kind of like a wet paint in a pot, really sparkly and shimmery. I love Shimmers products. So I've just mixed those in the centre there, and I'm just drying that off with my heat gun. Obviously I learnt that I can't roll my kitchen towel over these. I don't want to lose all of this colour, so I'm just using my heat gun to soak up most of the excess. Excuse me. And then I'm going to come back in with that cotton candy spritz and just add some splatters. I start drying those off with the heat gun, and then in the end I got bored and I did use the kitchen towel, but that doesn't matter, you can still see the splatters. I didn't want those to be too vivid. They're just kind of a faint detail that's added on. Now I want to work on my background a bit, and this is where it goes slightly wrong for me. So I've pulled out the ink pads we got in the August 2021 colour kit, and I just washed my blending brushes a couple of hours before, and stupidly I haven't dried them, so I've picked them up and I've dabbed it straight down on that yellow ink pad. You can see where all the water is soaked in. And then I've tried to apply it on my background and wondered why my background was soaking wet and my stencil was all wet. And it's because I hadn't dried my brushes off. So I'm now trying to rectify that. I've changed my blending brush to a dry one. And I'm mixing the two ink pads. I've got the pink and the yellow from last month, and I'm just mixing those with the blending brush to try and give me a kind of orangey colour. I've just applied it in a couple of areas for now, but because I hadn't marked off with a pencil or anything where the things were going to sit, I didn't really want to waste my time doing all that stencil work and then covering it all up. So I've done a couple of areas, and now I'm going to build my layout back up, and then I'll come back in with that stencil once I can see where things are placed, and add a bit more of that stencil detail. And this stencil from the colour kit this month, you may notice it's slightly different to the one that was originally advertised for the September colour kit. That's just because Kimberly had a bit of trouble with shipping delays getting hold of the original one. So it is slightly different. It's still by Echo Park, but instead of it being an autumn one, it's kind of a Christmassy one instead. But it's still leaves, so it still works really well for full layouts. Now I'm just adding a couple of layers behind my photo there. I'm using pattern papers. One of them is the Pink Fresh Studio, the same one that I've made that pouch out of. And the second one, I believe that orange stripe, I think is a Hip Kit exclusive from the September Days collection. I just wanted to add a couple more layers behind that photo, and I've distressed the edges with my distressing tool, and I've got that stuck down with some foam behind it. I've only put foam behind half because the pouch itself has got foam behind it and the photo is overlapping that, so it will just raise it all to the same level quite nicely. And now I'm going to try and remember where all these embellishments were, and build this layout back up and get things stuck down. So I'm using a mixture of foam and wet tacky glue for this. My double-sided sticky tape wasn't sticking too well to the mixed media background, even without gesso, which is unusual. Normally things struggle to stick to gesso. It might just be that my page was slightly damp still, so I ended up bringing in the wet glue. And now I'm trying to rebuild that cluster next to my photo there, and it just didn't look as nice as I had it before. And I think what's happened is I've moved the 3 and that kind of rusty coloured leaf sprig around. I think they were the other way around initially when I had this layout mapped out, but never mind. It came together in the end, and I've popped a chipboard flare in that cluster as well from Pink Fresh Studio. That piece there that says Full Love is also chipboard. It's from the sheet you get with all the frames and things on it. It was one of those. And I'm just tucking some leaves in. So I've got these floral pieces. I didn't really want to introduce yellow or blue to my layout, so I'm covering the covering the flowers by sliding them underneath. So I've just got those leaves exposed, just gives me that orange colour that I'm looking for. And then I've got some leaves here that I have fussy cut from one of the Pink Fresh papers, I believe. It's the yellow one that's got a sort of the diagonal corner is all leaf sprigs. I took some time and cut those all out. I'm just going to place a few scattered around my layout, and then I'm going to paint those once they're stuck in place with the cotton candy spritz to bring a bit of pink to the page. But now I kind of know where everything is going to be sitting, I can come back in with this stencil and add a bit more kind of leaf detail. So again, using the same two coloured ink pads from last month, and I'm just blending them with the brushes to create a kind of orange colour. And you can see kind of tones of pink and orange in that, and that's fine. Those are the two colours I was going for. So I'm not fussed that they're not like a perfect orange. I still think it looks really pretty. And then I'm just going to paint these leaves. I'm doing this really roughly. Again, no gesso, I've added the spray to some packaging. I'm not using any water, it's quite runny as it is. And I'm just using a paintbrush to get that colour onto those leaves. And I go around a couple of times painting over them as they're drying, and I decide I want them a little bit more vivid. So I'm going to bring back in that pink ink pad from last month, the Catherine Paula ink, and I'm going to paint that directly from the packaging. I'm not adding much water here, and I'm just adding it directly on, so it's quite a vibrant pink and really pops off the page. Apologies if you can hear my cat purring. She's come and sat next to me. Every time I talk, she starts purring. So just typical. I've sat down to do a voiceover and she's jumped on me and started purring her little head off, bless her. I'm just going to finish my layout off with some splatters using the pink ink pad from last month again, so I wanted some more of that vibrant pink. So just watered it down a bit and added some splatters, and that's me done. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that's given you some inspiration or some ideas using your September 2021 hip kits. I will pop some links in the description box below to the kits I've used on this layout, and also to the blog, because I've got some photos and details up on the blog as well today, the Hip Kit blog. And I'll also leave a link to the Hip Kit Club Facebook group. If you're not already a member, you can head over and join. But thanks very much for watching today, and I shall see you next time.